roasting labs. We're going to be doing a new coffee that I just got in yesterday from Sweet Maria's, and I'm kind of excited to get in, start getting some test roasts, and get this thing perfected, or at least tasting good. So what we got today is going to be a Costa Rican. Looks like it's Don Oscar Le Montoña, so just apparently mountain grown Costa Rican coffee. A little bit different flavors than what I'm used to. It's got a backdrop of raw sugary sweetness, understated raisin, hints of walnut, baking chocolate. It does say that full city roasts are intense with chocolate roast flavors, and there is an exclamation point there. So I think what we'll try to do is we'll try to take it medium dark, right up till second crack. So we'll go way past first crack and see if we can't get some of that chocolatey flavor. This is a washed, processed bean. So it's going to be more of that traditional medium flavored, balanced flavored coffee. So that's kind of exciting, and I'm excited to get started on this. So while we're waiting for some people to come in, we'll go ahead and preheat the machine. Let's see. Just go ahead and get it warmed up here. Okay, so we're back. And a quick adjustment here with the roasting platform. So welcome in. Said we're going to be doing a Costa Rican coffee. I've done some Costa Rican before. The Costa Ricans I've done in the past were a dry process. This is a washed. It is suggesting that I take it somewhere to a full city, and in fact at full city, which means right before that second crack. It says that is where the most intense chocolate flavors are. So we're going to be doing a medium dark roast, really trying to bring out the chocolate flavors, as I have been getting a lot of requests for those as of late. So I bought a 5-pound bag, and I'm going to spend this 5-pound bag really honing in my medium roast skills, see if I can get a lot of that intense chocolate taste out. So that's what we're going to be doing today. To do that, we're going to put about a 230-degree preheat on the VMore 2000 here and get that warmed up. So thanks for everyone that's joining us. Another thing, I'll probably be showing this throughout the show, but went ahead and ordered, when I say a lot more coffee from Sweet Maria's, that would be an understatement. As you can see, this is what a 20-pound bag looks like. It's pretty intense. That's the most green coffee I've ever seen, and this is an Ethiopian that I think is going to make for a real crowd pleaser. It's got a lot of the flavors that people have been saying, like I like a subtle, but I like the fruity. So probably tomorrow we're going to break into this bag and see what we got ourselves into. This is quite the investment on coffee, but the nice thing with me is really no matter how much coffee, I always seem to drink my way through it. So don't worry, I will be able to put this down. So that is that. Chocolate flavors. Would you shame someone that added milk to that? No, I want it. I really, the more that I've thought about it, I am not against coffee that has a milk, especially when it's been brewed with milk in mind. Now, when I first got into coffee, I was if it's black, it's wrong. Excuse me, if it's not black, it's wrong. But the more that I spend talking to people, a little splash of milk, just to balance it out, kind of bring out the richness. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, adding milk to coffee is just a big part of the American culture, and I think we have to embrace that. So I say add the milk. Okay, so we're about 220 on our roaster, so we'll go ahead and start prepping for that. As you get questions, please feel free to drop those in the chat. If nothing else, it helps keep me company here on a cold night in the basement, so those are much appreciated. And we will go ahead and get our coffee started. So let's go ahead and measure up half a pound of this new roast. In fact, Belle Marte, I hope to have this available and ready to try on Friday. So when we do our roast show on Friday, hopefully I'll have some samples that you will not only be able to taste, but take home with you. So hopefully we can get this tuned in and tasting good by Friday. Okay, half a pound. Yeah, hopefully, if you guys get here early enough on Friday, maybe we can bring Kyle in and let him roast some of his own. I'm starting to get quite the stock, so he should be able to come in, say I want this, and do some experimenting on his own there. Technical difficulties continue today as we have over preheated our machine. So I'm gonna let the machine cool down a little bit. Again, it's quirky. You kind of got to play within its parameters. So just to explain to you what I did, I was trying to preheat it up to 230. I wasn't prepared, so I let it keep preheating. It got itself up to about 270 degrees. I tried to sneak a roast in. This machine has a fail-safe in it. If it gets to a certain level, it doesn't let you start a new roast. So what it's trying to do is prevent somebody from going in and essentially trying to over roast their coffee more than this machine can do. So now we have to cool the machine down before we can start it back up. So that is kind of annoying, but it should only be a minute. Have you looked into another roaster or staying loyal to the one that you have, the Be More? I have been looking into another roaster. I think I already have my next roaster out. It is a little roaster called the Bullet. It isn't much bigger than this roaster, and in fact it's still an electric roaster. But what the Bullet brings is it's a lot of consistency. It does have what are called computer track roasts. It has some pretty interesting technology that allows you to take infrared temperatures of the bean temperature. It also can consistently do 2-pound coffees back to back to back. So where I'm trying to go, the next stage in my roasting, that seems to fit. Although it's still not, your traditional commercial roasters. I think for the operation I'm trying to do down here, I think that's going to be a good, nice turnaround machine. Do I like to accompany my coffee with a sweet treat? Yeah, I do. I am a real sucker for sweet treats. In fact, I told the story that Julie would not drink coffee until she realized that sweet treats and coffee were not mutually exclusive. They were directly complementary of one another. There's nothing better than big fat slice of pie, a little bit of ice cream on that, nice little bit of brew, mixing all that flavor together. Get out of here. Pastries, what's the best to go with coffee? Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, even like a little chocolate chip cookie, give a little coffee dunk. Come on. That's all I can think about now. Okay, so we got the roasters playing ball again, so that's a relief. All right, let's take two. Okay, if you're just joining us, Costa Rican, Don Oscar, doing that. Let me get my book all set up for the new roast, and then we will drop the bean cam in, keep fielding some questions. Now this is not the first Costa Rican I've done. I did do a Costa Rican, I did do a 5-pound bag a while back where I was trying to turn it into a light roast. I got some good light roasts out of the Costa Rican, but from everything I've read, Costa Ricans really shine at medium roast. So I wanted to buy another Costa Rican because I do hear very good things about it, but this time I wanted it to be the first coffee that I tried to perfect medium roasts on this machine. So that is kind of the theory behind the medium roast. Chocolate chip cookie from the winter. Yeah, those are championship chocolate chip cookies I like to have in there. In fact, big guy got a batch going upstairs as we speak. Do you drink that sparkling water with normal coffee or just espresso? What does that do? Well, to be fully I don't like sparkling water. And although I've heard it's a palate cleanser, it kind of, excites your taste buds, it gets them ready to receive the bold flavors that are in coffee. And I think espresso is really where you're trying to get that bold flavor. I think that's the general thought behind the sparkly water. I don't like it. And in fact, maybe that's just my, kind of down home, backwoods bred American side of me, but I want my water flat. I like my water like I like my landscapes. Flat. But, I mean, you go to Europe, sparkling water is going to be everywhere, so I think it's just a very European thing where they tend to like to cleanse their palate with the sparkly water. I mean, if anybody else has an opinion about sparkling water, please feel free to drop it in the chat, as I'm kind of mixed on the fence. I see it, I get it, I do it when I have espresso. Especially you go to Parisi in downtown Overland Park, they're notorious for serving a little sparkly guy. But nah, I'm not into that in any other form of coffee. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit of a wacky batch. That technical difficulty kind of threw us off a little bit, so we'll be watching that. That's kind of a bummer, but wow, this is okay. Okay, got a question in here from Kyle Ross. I like to use it when tasting different coffees, one after another. It washes out the one I've just tried. Yeah, I figured that would be it. That's what I've heard. It kind of stimulates the taste buds. It kind of perks them up. It helps. I think it kind of switches gears, so you're in that bitter, that sweet, that chocolatey taste. The sparkling water kind of cleanses all of that out. When I've done taste after taste after taste, I generally will just do like a little swig of water and spit it out. But I could definitely see how the bubbles would enhance that. And I'm sure if we ever get a chance to talk to a master taste tester, they may be able to shine a little bit of light on that. How do you adjust when you do have a batch go haywire like this? Well, I just kind of focus my nose in. I really keep a close eye on the time, on the temperature. I hope. I hope. What I try to do is just monitor it, and hopefully the roast gets back on track. And if it doesn't, bottom line is I throw it away. It is always hard for me to throw a batch away, but when I'm starting something new, I don't want to start from in a hole where I messed a bunch of things up and I think that's the flavor, and I really don't want to get in the habit of having a mess up be the best coffee. So if I can't get this thing back on track, full disclosure, I'll trash it. We'll just try again. So hopefully that's not the case. I think we should be able to recover a little bit. I mean, it is starting to aromatic, but I'm not going to let it just sit in here and bake and get frustrated by those flavors. So if it doesn't do what I want it to do, I'm just going to trash it. Good question. Alright, so we are getting the heat up. Just if you're just joining us and wondering why I'm complaining about trashing a batch, I overheated the machine. Again, love it. Have had the best coffee I've ever drank has come from this little microwave. But every now and then I get caught up in the quirkiness of it, and that's just one downfall of doing something at home on a home roaster. Someday I'll give you guys the full rundown of all the crazy contraption I've seen people roast coffee on. So this isn't even the most frustrating machine that people home roast coffee with, but I over preheated it, and then a safety switch kicked in and I had to bring it all the way back down. And now what's happening is I'm having a little bit of trouble balancing getting the heat back up fast enough. I don't think it's going to ruin the batch, but I've already gone ahead and started this batch as a what could have been batch. Good question there. If you're just joining us, welcome in. We are doing a Costa Rican new bag I just got in from Sweet Maria's today. I'm going to be doing quite a bit of batches over the next couple of days. Get a couple of sample roasts so I can begin to dial in just how far I want to take this coffee on the roasted side. Also, this is my next project. This is the 20-pound bag of Ethiopian I went ahead and invested in. I'll be doing this tomorrow, and I'm pretty excited. I think this is some pretty quality coffee I got my hands on, so I should be making some pretty tasty batches over the next couple of roasts on this as well. All right, so we are about 8 minutes in. The machine is right about 300 degrees. Normally at 8 minutes, we're really entering that first roast. As you can see, the coffee is just cinnamoning, so we're about 2 minutes behind where I want to be. I'm going to keep an eye on it, but if it gets longer than about 11 minutes, we're baking the coffee at that point. I think we can still make some drinkable coffee out of it, but it's definitely not going to be something I can call a taste profile. So what I'll do is I'll probably just sneak down here a little bit later once everything's calmed down and just do another one just to stay on track. I won't stream it, but I'll just try to grab another roast to balance this out. But try our best to save this roast and see if you guys what you guys think, how the save job went. This is not good. So, might as well answer some questions. If you got questions, drop those in the chat. And who knows? You know, maybe we save it. Okay, so about what time did you expect the first crack? With a half pound on this machine, I'm usually shooting for about 8 minutes. Small roasted coffee, 8 minutes, 8 to 9 minutes is the sweet spot. It's all the adjustments I make on this machine are all geared at hitting that 8-minute window. I've tasted it. Anything beyond 8 minutes, you start losing all the acidy taste that may be in there. Because we're going to take this to medium roast, might not matter, but 8 minutes is the window I'm looking for. Are the aromatics different? Okay, we got the first roast. Took us about 11 minutes, so hey, we said 11 minutes. It was right at about 10 minutes and 30 seconds, so I still got hope. Are the aromatics different when it ends up baking instead? No. And you won't be able to taste it until the cup. Now, baking is a very hard flavor. I've read a lot of things that say baking is very overstated, but I have, you know, and maybe Kyle Ross, if he's still in the chat, he's tasted some of my earlier brews, and even he mentioned like, hey, it tastes like something's missing. So even though it's very subtle, if you do bake it, it is a risk of creating some very muted flavors. So still good coffee, still balanced, but muted nonetheless. All right, so we're gonna take this to a little bit dark. Okay. That's good. So let's see if we were able to save the roast. So everything else is the same. Do the external brew here. Smoking. Looks good. Okay, save the roast. Yeah, I think we're gonna be okay. Now, it's not gonna be something I want to try to replicate, but I think I might have been able to save it. It was able to come in underneath 11 minutes, so I'm optimistic that we are going to be able to recover from our early hijinks in the roast. In fact, I think we should be in pretty good shape. When you specifically take notes on time, temp, and smell, when I take a note in my notebook, there's generally 3 notes I want to take. And this is just probably comes across as chicken scratch because, well, that's how I write. I will take notes of time temperatures at every 2 minutes. And then once I hit 8 minutes and I'm starting to predict the first crack, I'll start looking at the exhaust temperatures. I also keep notes of the roast number, how much I preheat, the settings I put on the machine, and then anything screwy that happened in the roast. Also, after I drink it, I'll take flavor notes of it to get there. Now that I'm starting to roast a lot more consistently, the next step, and I'll hopefully be able to show you guys on Twitch pretty soon, I'm going to start doing different roasts so that when I develop for 1.5 minutes, the one I do next I'll develop for 1.5 minutes. I'll do one at a minute, and I'll do one at probably 2 minutes. And then I will taste each individual one in a very systematic way, and then I will select which I like better. So right now, that process is technically referred to as cupping, but really what it is it's a way of me choosing what is most palatable as far as my taste buds go. Okay, so here is the finished product of the first Costa Rican. Well. Okay, so there it is. Taste it with sparkling water. Yeah, I mean, that might be the key. Sparkling water may be the game we have to play. So there it is. Just getting my eyes on it. Looks pretty good. It does look, I think the taste will be fine. This is definitely not something it's not going to make its way outside of my kitchen, that's for sure. Just because, I mean, I think it will taste okay. It looks a little squirrely. Not saying it looks bad, it looks delicious. But I think I'm definitely going to try to roast this again at the exact same, but try to balance some things out. So I think we still have some good coffee. Looks good, pretty even. Yeah, I agree. It does look pretty even, but not bad for the very first batch, but I definitely want to make some adjustments. Now I'll keep some notes on the taste, just to see, kind of have something to compare to, just to see if, well, how much I can get away with. But a lot of room to grow on this, but it looks good, it looks even, it's got a good medium roast. The beans look pretty solid, so hats off to Sweet Maria's for sending me another quality batch of green beans. But we'll have to just wait and see. Yeah. Go ahead and comment on that, but we'll see. Let me see if there's anything else I want to pass along today. Probably will be roasting every night this week, although the back-to-back roasts do get a little bit tiring. Just because I got all these new orders in, I want to get a wide assortment of coffee so I can begin tasting it and refining it. Again, we have this bag to get into. We got this bag to get into. And I still have a couple more little bags that I want to try as well. So, an embarrassingly abundant supply of coffee, so that just means I gotta get down here and just roast, which isn't the worst thing in the world because I get to drink a lot of coffee over the next couple of days. Those are some pretty good days. We also are having our first guest to the kitchen. I know if you saw it on Instagram, my brother was here roasting, but our first kitchen guest will be on Friday night at 8:30. As I said, a professional barista will be joining us to show his pour-over method, as well as talking about the things that he looks in for coffee, and also how he tries and samples coffee and really begins to lock in. Because just as farmers should be tasting their coffee, just as roasters should be tasting their roasts, baristas will also need to taste a lot of coffee so that they can lock in their skill, so that they're, getting the best qualities out of the bean. So he'll go over some of those. So that should be a pretty interesting show, very informative, as well as he'll be doing a very, a coffee shop quality pour over down here in my basement, which should be really insightful to everybody, because if we can do it in this basement, you can do it at home if that's something you want to try to perfect. Special episode Friday, yep. I think Friday will be really cool. I'm excited, and in fact, I told my son that we're gonna have some special guests, so he's excited. So it should be a fun time. So mark that on your calendar. Pick your favorite caffeinated drink or any drink you want, and follow us at 8:30 on Friday. I think that should be the start of some really cool content out of the kitchen. So great work, can't wait. All right, so I'll be here for another minute. I'm just going to be kind of tidying up, straightening up a little bit. So if you have questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. They can be coffee related or really anything if you have questions. Also, if you have suggestions of things you want to see in the kitchen shows, that's kind of where we're going to really let our creativity get away from us. So I'm really appreciative that Kyle Ross will be coming in on Friday. I think that will be the start of something really cool. But if you have any other suggestions, or if there's anything you want to see me try to do on this roaster, other than, kind of screw up a batch and have to tape it back together, let me know. Looking forward to Friday. Yeah, I think Friday will be cool. So be there. Tell everybody. I know it's kind of tough when this makes me already feel really old, because everyone that I tell about Twitch that's my age, they're like, Twitch, I don't know Twitch. And I don't know when it happened, but apparently when you reach around your mid-30s, people just are very reluctant to try anything new. It's wild, because I kind of grew up when really social media was unfolding, so it felt like every day someone was pushing some new social media platform down my throat and saying, try this, okay, you got to get on this, all right. And I think by the time I was in my mid-20s, I had like 7 or 8 social media accounts. Now I can't get people like, pulling people by their teeth to try to check out Twitch. But as you guys are all finding out, it is pretty cool. It's pretty interactive. So thanks for joining me on Twitch. If you got anyone that's even curious about it, have them pop on. If you are in, thank you. Like I said, I'll be taking a couple of questions in the chat. Also, because this is my small workout regimen, I'll be keep showing off my 20-pound bag. So my big bag here, big sack of coffee. Really, it's your guys' job as viewers to see how long does this last. So drop it in the chat if you want to go ahead and say, will it last 15 weeks, 10 weeks, 6 weeks? How quick can we run through this much coffee? Okay, Jill McDonald 311. I'll share info about the upcoming roast on Instagram. Twitch was new to me as a 28-year-old, so not just mid-30s. Yeah, but absolutely share that with whoever is willing to listen. Get them in here. It'll be kind of a fun time. We'll connect something to Instagram as well. We do seem to get a pretty good response on Instagram, so we'll make sure we cut that in as well. But the Twitch has the bean cams. It'll have the brew cams. It also allows us to do a really interactive, so tell everyone you know about that, especially those Austin hipsters. I think this particular stream would be right up the kind of the ironic stream that those hipsters are really thriving for down in that hipster metropolis. I'll say with the increased orders in roast, it'll last minimum 12 weeks. So 12 weeks, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I thought the order I did last time, I thought that was going to really keep me busy for many, many weeks. It lasted 3 weeks total. So I hope the 20-pounder can slow me down a little bit. I think this will be a nice supplement to that, but we'll see. Yeah, so yeah, hit those mustaches up. Wait till you get to be 67, everything's new. Yeah, but I think at 67, like, now it doesn't matter anymore, because really, it feels like everything's new. It starts coming back around again. Jim, you were one of the first people to get on Twitch, and you were probably the least prodding of anybody. You were right on, and your Twitch skills are top notch. So I actually have a big, a lot of faith in the more experienced community. So Jim, I'm looking for you to get out there, push this, really hit up and say, hey, it's Friday night, drink a little wine, drink a little coffee, come watch some bumbling 30-year-old sit in his basement and try to learn how to do a little pour over. Or better yet, come hang out with me and hit me up with some questions. 65. I mean, are you 65? I mean, when did we start? 66, 67, 68? Nah, you're young at heart. Jim, I would say you're younger than me. Youngest guy I know. That's right, smiley face. Yeah, the Jim McDonald crowd is probably the one I think that will really get this chat just humming. So you go out there and get them all stirred up. I think that's the people we need. He is an influencer. Like that's no doubt. Baby Beans sets them trends. We need to take this one darker. All right, any more or less chaff with this batch? This tends to, well, that's my shorts. I'd say less chaff than the washed. Probably the cleanest batch I've had was the batch that I did with Paul on Friday night. So, but overall, pretty mild. the more time I look at it, I mean, it's pretty good. But as always, we'll have to drop it in the cup, see what it kind of tastes like there. Alright, so it looks like we're right about 40 minutes, so thanks everyone for coming in, dropping in the chat. Friday's the big show, but I should be down here the next couple of nights if you want to pop in and keep me company, as I will be just sorting through some of the new stock that I got. So as always, thank you for taking some time and hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the questions. And be easy. I'll see you guys next time.